Hey, Miracle Mindset Collective, welcome to our poolside chat today. Seeing as here it is, we're in a stream of 100 plus degree temperatures. And so while I do love a good fireside chat, especially if I have a outdoor fire pit, and these days I figure let's go with water today. While we're in the heat of summer here in the Western Hemisphere. Is that right? I don't really know what hemisphere I'm in. Can't clear. I choose to know. Um, in the US. I'll say it that way. So if you're catching the replay, let me know. Hashtag replay. And I'm going to give y'all a few moments to join me live here and comment. Let me know when you're here. Let me know where you're listening from. And I love interacting with you all. So if you have comments to share or ahas and revelations of your own, remember we're going to be doing these, at least for the foreseeable future, once a month, where you can suggest a topic, you can ask a question, you can tell me a challenge that you are having, and then I will come on here and I will share my insights and my experiences, and my outcome is you feel inspired, you feel ignited, and you feel activated in your own powerful choices to live brand new, moment to moment to moment to moment. So today's topic that has come up for me is, what is the nature of true freedom? I believe is how I expressed it before. And now I'm thinking, like, what is the nature, and then what do you do to nurture your own personal freedom? And when we talk about personal freedom, that's really where it all starts. We can talk about collective freedom, and we can talk about global freedom, and we can talk about freedoms for all people. Yes. And where freedom really begins is where you have freedom in your own personal experience in life. And the number one way for you to experience the truest freedom that you can have is to address your triggers when they come up. The reason, well, triggers show us where we don't yet have full freedom. It's where we haven't yet applied the principles of freedom that we have acquired, or that we have knowledge of, or that we have received. In Christian or church speak, if you have given your life to Christ and you have triggers, it's a symptom or a signal of an area of your life where you have not fully applied the full freedom and the full measure of Christ alive in you. And you can apply, so say love. It's an area where you have yet to apply the full measure of love to your own life. Now, if we don't clear our traumas and address our triggers, then we will be in a reactive pattern. Reactive patterns will keep us looping in the illusion. And if we are in a reactive pattern, then we require laws and rules outside of us to govern our behavior. We're designed actually to be self-governing and to be self-regulating. And what I mean by that is to be fully and completely present to God's presence within us, to the God spark that gives us all life, and to govern and to navigate and to manage our own behaviors and our own experiences with life. But if we have a trigger and we self-distract from that trigger, then we are going to continue to have moments where we don't actually operate in the freedom that is truly ours to have. So, hey Tammy, hey Lydia, welcome, welcome. So when we're talking about freedom and the nature of freedom, then we get to discern and discover in our own personal lives where we have triggers. Now, you can go looking for your triggers, or you can just be an observation of where you have triggers, because they're going to come whether or not you really go after them. They're going to come up. The choice is, I choose to be aware when I have a trigger coming up for me, and I choose to take the time, I choose to invest time, and I choose to trust that I have the tools available within me, and I have full support from my world to address this trigger. where we think and where we create the illusion of, I can't address this trigger because I don't have time and no one will support me and nobody loves me, everybody hates me, I'm going to go eat some worms, victim mentality, cancel clear, is by giving away the power of our choice to outside circumstances. And we can just as easily notice, I say just as easily, we can choose. Because if we've been in an unconscious pattern for a long time, or it is a generational pattern to not address and to not look at what our triggers are, then doing so may seem counterintuitive because you're moving out of a self-protective mechanism and into a powerful choice, into your powerful choice. So how do you nurture your freedom? You nurture your freedom by ensuring that what you're looking at, what you're watching, what you're taking in, especially in an area where you're being brand new, that what you're listening to, what you're taking in is going to serve to nurture that place in your soul, in your body, where you are growing in strength. So if I'm growing in strength, in faith, and courage, for me personally, if I'm addressing a specific area of my life where I'm growing in faith and courage, it's not a good idea for me to read or watch or be in environments where fear is being fed in that specific area. Now I can go and I can check on myself. I can go, okay, let me see how I do now. And I can go insert myself in that situation. I can go, am I there yet? Am I able to stand in strength? Can I be in a place of peace, irregardless of the waves and the wind and the voices and the stream of whatever's going on in my outer world? If not, it's good to know that, because it just means I have more inner awareness to cultivate and to develop of how fully loved and how fully supported I already am. So when, I love that, Tammy, when you had one come up, you observed it, and then you applied and you used your tools to move through it. I have I have many tools in my tool belt. You have tools in your tool belt. You just may not be aware yet, but a simple tool that you can use to help yourself when you are triggered is your breath. Your breath is a great indicator of trigger. Are you holding your breath? Most likely you've had a trigger come up. Are you breathing all the way in? If not, it's likely you're operating in a trigger. If you're not exhaling all the way, it's likely that you're operating unconsciously in a trigger. Now, what you do to bring awareness back into your body and to bring autonomy back to you, to bring your freedom back to you, is by regulating your own breath. And you can do that by deep breath in and deep breath out. Counting is a great way to do that. We have in this group, we did, I think, a 5-day workshop, play shop challenge. I choose to remember how I named it, but it's in the guide section. It was a breath, essential oil, and sound experience where we practice breathing. And you can do box breathing. Box breathing is an excellent way to begin to regulate your nervous system, to bring you back into your now moment, so you can observe, what is the story I'm making up about this right now? I love Brene Brown. She's the one who I got that phrase from. What's the story I'm making up about this right now? And the second question to ask yourself is, and what am I making it mean about me? How am I taking this personal? How am I making this a personal? Am I taking it personally? How am I allowing it to feed a wound, to nurse a wound? And once I discover it, then I can make my new choice. So it's really important to allow yourself to notice what is a story. Now, if you've studied with me, if you've done conscious language, if you've done any measure of inner work study, this is really important, is you have to allow what your actually thoughts are to come up to the surface. Don't try to correct them yet. Don't try to edit yourself. Don't begin to cancel clear and change what you're saying until you get it all out. You're going to have to get it all out. And you may experience, oh my gosh, this story, as I'm realizing what I'm telling myself, you to fully express the story you're making up and what you're making it mean about you, because your intellectual mind would be like, oh, I know that I should know better. You start shooting on yourself, which is a symptom, a signal that you're using a shame tool. So just be in observation mode. If you notice, oh, this is a shame tool, just go, oh, maybe that's a shame tool. Just make note of it. I journal. I recommend journaling through this. If you're not a journaler, maybe you can do a recording. You can audibly do this. I love to use otter.ai. It's an app. You get, you can do the free version. This would be adequate for you. You can speak into it and it'll transcribe it. I find it important to be able to see the words on my page, because then I can see, oh, this is the pattern. And so if this is a story I've been making up, and if this is what I'm making it mean about me, then I can go, okay, well, what's really true here? And what is my new choice? What do I choose? What story do I choose to author? Do I choose to author a story that says somebody out here is taking away my freedom? Or can I rewrite that story and go, you know what? No, what I have right here is a powerful opportunity to create brand new in this disruption in my life. Yes, Lydia, nurture growing in faith and courage. Absolutely. Find ways to do that. Find people that will do that for you. Thank you, Lydia, for posting that link there. And the 2 questions, yes, Lydia, they're so helpful. What's the story? And you can do it mid-trigger. Like you're in a conversation or you're observing something. And I'm going to tell you a lot of things. Now, if you have been observing your own triggers in the mainstream, I'm going to say like it's in the common stream where a lot of people are, and you found, okay, you've begun to regulate and you're no longer triggered by what's coming in the mainstream, you might see if there's if it's time now for you to move to the cutting edge, to the edge of discovery, to the edge of the universe. Oh, I'm thinking Star Trek or Star Wars, where you go where no man has gone before. And then begin to cultivate your strength and courage to be brand new and discover brand new, and to be in a place where you can trust you. You can trust you for your own inner guidance. You can trust your connection with Source within you. Okay, I'm not talking about your ego running if it does, it's okay, but I'm not talking about that. But to recollect, regroup, remember within you, you have everything you require to live for life and godliness, for life and connection to Source, to live your own life. You do not have to give away your freedom of choice to anyone outside of you unless you choose. Now, where it gets expansive for me is when I realize if I operate in my true freedom, the question that comes up for me, and it's important to observe this question for me, is what will I lose if I operate in my full freedom? Most of us don't choose to live in our full freedom. This is what I make up, and this is my own interpretation of this, and you can tell me if this resonates for you, is because of my fear of losing something. Now, you may have a different fear, but I'll just talk about mine right now. Losing relationship, losing stuff, and ultimately losing my life, like to death. Okay. So if that's the worst thing that happens to me, well, I'm in my belief system at this time, like death is not actually death. Death is really just transition to a new and perhaps improved, I believe anyway, maximum improved dimension that I will still also have to adjust to. So I choose to do is maximum adjusting here on earth to my heavenly mindset, my Christed mind, so that when I transition dimensions, when and if that ever happens for me, I will have my Christed mind to the degree that I'm capable of doing it while on this earth plane, fully up and running. And I believe we're all actually being asked to do that. I used to have a belief that once I got to heaven, I would have this instantaneous world open up to me. And yes, I believe there's a degree of that, but I'm going to have patterns, I think, to upgrade in heaven, because yeah, well, anyway, that's just my belief system. I'm not going to go down that road right there at this point in time, but we could discuss that. If you're like, hey, I have more questions about that, let's do that next week. And so if you have, okay, so I'm going to bring this up because oftentimes, at least this is me, I live my life based on someone else's boxes, oftentimes, or I'll express myself based on other people's boxes, and I'm going to call them morality boxes, because the morality box is where we keep our right, wrong thinking intact. This is right, this is wrong, this is right, this is wrong, this is right, this is wrong, this is right, that you're doing that wrong, you're doing that wrong, you're doing that right. And then our own, or my own, fear of judgment, that if I bump into someone else's, or I step out of someone else's idea of morality box, and then I do things, or I express things that are outside of their right, wrong thinking, then I may lose that relationship. I may lose that connection. Cancel, clear. Because I don't really, well, that is just the story I make up about that. So I'm recommitting, brand new today, to do my due diligence to live into my full expression of what freedom looks like for me today. Now, my freedom of expression, the way I express myself and things I talk about and things I eat and the things I partake in and things I watch and I listen to and I ingest may not be within your realm of freedom yet. And that's okay. But triggers can come when we also judge someone in their own freedom expression, where they are on their path at this moment in their full freedom expression. So if we can move back in and go, what's the story I'm telling myself? What am I making this mean about me? And what happens for me if, instead of trying to mitigate my own choices and expression, because if that may be what's happening, that I've just been giving my power away right, left, and everywhere to try to, keep people happy in their morality boxes. What happens if I am empowered in love and forgiveness and choice, and I begin to choose to live in my freedom, and then I let those people deal with their own triggers? I'm not responsible for your triggers. You're not responsible for my triggers. Children are a different story, so we could talk about children another day. But you as an adult, you are responsible for your own triggers. Can we comfort and bring love into situations where people are triggered? 100%. Yes. And my freedom for my expression is mine to govern. Now, let me bring this up because it's coming up in my mind to talk about. There is a grace that we can have to walk in awareness of where people are and what they can handle. Jesus even did this. He said, I have so much more I could tell you, but you cannot bear the weight of what I have. So we'll have to wait until you're ready for it. And that is why it's super important to stay connected to Source, because Source will lead and guide us in our freedom expression so that it is suitable and appropriate for all people. But I don't have to manage that here in my ego. Like that will not work out well, because I have tendencies in the past to be perfectionistic and a people pleaser. So my mind can't do that. My spirit will have to lead me in that until I have full governance over my thoughts in that area. So, and if I bump into someone else with my freedom, like I've had this happen before, like quite literally, I was in this event and I felt my freedom of expression and movement really just spring up from me like a fountain. And I physically moved my body in this freedom of expression, and I was doing my arms like this, and I went back accidentally into someone else. Was I in my freedom of expression? Yes. Did I whack somebody in my freedom of expression accidentally? Yes. What did I do? Oops. I apologize. Are you okay? Sorry about that. And I moved myself, and I just allowed myself to be more aware of my body moving in the space that I had available to me. Right. So, just apply that to your own freedom expression. Oops, I recommit. Please forgive me. I apologize. Are you okay? Clean up, and then find a space. Find a space to practice your freedom of expression, and a space that allows you, that has grace for that too. It's okay to be a little bit, I say it's okay, I'm going to give myself permission to get a little hesitant, like try the waters out, but don't pull back just because you get a reaction from somebody. Just go, maybe this isn't the space for me to practice this, or maybe it is. Maybe you're reclaiming your sovereignty and your power and your freedom of expression in that arena, and that's the place where you practice. You're going to have to go with your own inner guidance on this, okay? All right. Robin, I love box breathing. I use this when I wake up in the middle of the night with old stories running through my mind. Excellent choice. Yes. I love that breathing. I was going to say another thing that you can do is you just go outside. Go outside in nature. Lean against a tree if you have access to that. Put your hand on something natural like the grass or the ground. If you aren't able to go out in nature, maybe if you can have plants or something natural in your environment, essential oils are a great way to do this. I use my Young Living essential oils for this on a regular basis, and I found it super beneficial, especially when I can't get outside. Lydia, ooh, I felt that question, heavy and hard. Yeah, right. Like, what am I going to lose? What am I afraid I'm going to lose? And can I lose my life? Right? There's a scripture about that. He who, just lose your life, and actually what you get back is way more magnificent. I can attest to that. Even though I still am expanding in this, I reached the edge of my known awareness, and I started to go, okay, can I really step into the freedom of my expression here? And because it's okay for me, like what I'm expressing, what I'm doing, it's okay for me. But I've been hesitant to be honest, well, not honest, but to be like, to say certain things around certain people, because I'm like, oh, what if I lose them? Cancel clear. I mean, what if I do? It's not really losing them. It's that our path, or where I am on my path, has changed in relation to where they are on theirs. And maybe I've just stopped for a moment and they've kept going, or maybe I've kept going and they've stopped. It's still the path, right? And it's only my judgments or my story I make up that says that I've lost them. Because what if, who knows, right? God in me knows that person or that group or that experience, we may rejoin in another area on the path. And when we rejoin, we'll be more aligned and more compatible, or more with the ability to have our freedom of expression and to be mutually supportive in that expression. Yeah. So people, that you do this with the people in your life, the story is just watch your story, right? You can create the story that says I've lost them for forever, or you can just say, I give me and them permission to discover our own speed of life, our own rhythm of discovery, our own rhythm of enlightenment and awareness, and growing in consciousness, and growing in our operating out of our Christed mind. All right. Okay. Lydia, what do I lose, give up when I choose to live in this freedom? And I think it's important to count the cost, because when you can count the cost, then, just allow yourself to become aware of what you're telling yourself that cost is, and then recognize the story in the cost, and then recognize the value of the investment of living in your freedom. Robin, I have the ability to respond with God in me. Amen. That's been the most powerful of conscious language. Yay. Yes, a powerful upgrade to our Christ mind. Yes, exactly. Sometimes it's for a season and all is well. All right, friends. Well, I love you all so much. Thank you for joining me live, and we'll do this again next week. I also have, I'm really, I'm super thankful to be getting more inspiration and ideas for what we can do in here. And it's all in divine timing. And I know you all are with me in that. So feel free to comment in this if you had another question surface, another topic or something I've shared and I touched on. You're like, hey, I'd like to know more about that. If you don't, if you desire to share private with me, feel free to message me directly, and I will put it on my list of what topics we may be sharing on next week. And I am so enthused and thrilled to see you all shining and to see you thriving and to see you all experiencing love in greater and greater and greater measures. And I choose to know, if you choose to tell me, if you choose to share how you are taking action, your God rest in action, taking action in expanding your awareness of your freedom and then stepping into your freedom expression. Let me know how that is for you. Let me know what challenges come up for you. And if you have tools that you use to get through it, let me know that too, because that's an awesome expression and testimony that will help those around you. All right, friends, talk to you next week. Bye-bye.